Chapter 58. Layla walked beneath the light of the morning sun, her body back under her own control. Everything hurt, but outwardly every wound she had endured had healed, leaving behind only red scars beneath the rips of her clothing. She didn't understand how that could be, especially when she looked at the frail and fading form of Ulian, still in Inej's arms. But she understood nothing anymore. Sometime during the night, Inej had gotten them to the other side of that strange world they had delved into. They were now in the foothills of the Navina Mountains. If the Yelmes had followed them, there was no signs of them now. Since waking, the true impact of what had happened to her had sunk in. She had lost control of herself, had been controlled. Now, atop of every other growing fear and anxiety, loomed the knowledge that she could be possessed again at any moment. Would it happen again? Would there be a moment when something else takes control of her, waves her hand like before, and suddenly ends life? Next time, would it be more Yelmes who die, or would it be Inej? When she had asked the Velk, he had said they were safe. He had said Oli had done it, and probably in order to protect her. But Layla wouldn't believe him. She couldn't stomach the thought that Oli, of all people, would do that. Layla's boots crunched against a thin layer of snow. It was growing colder with every step they took. She pulled her cloak tighter and stepped into the footprints of Inej, who had packed the snow so tight that dried grass and dirt poked through. It didn't escape her mind that their trail would be easy enough for even a child to follow. If the Dark Ones still pursued them, they would know where to go for certain. Inej wasn't even bothering to hide their destination with zigzags or false trails. He aimed directly at the looming maw between two mountain peaks, what Inej called the Uski Pass. "He's still alive," Inej said, turning to her as he shifted Ulian in his arms. "That's good," Layla said, unsure if she meant it. She wanted Ul to live, but she wasn't sure if it would be a mercy to the poor bartender to try and drag him over the mountains like this. Layla saw little chance that he'd make it, and death now might be a mercy. But Layla wasn't going to say that aloud. Why the Velk tried so hard, Layla couldn't fathom. Her, Ulian, watchful, he seemed a slave to keeping everyone else alive. It made no sense. He should have left by himself and just gone home, letting her and the world burn. Instead, he pounded the snow before her and made her own steps much easier. "Ow," Layla said, grabbing at her head. She felt like someone had just punched her in the chin. Inej turned around, narrowing his eyes. "Your brother, I guess." "What?" "Someone's hurt him. The pain goes both ways now." "Oy, great," Layla muttered. She prayed to Deos for Oli, but more off reflex than actual belief. If there were a maker that existed, he didn't seem to be one who answered prayers. "We'll stop soon and give you a rest," Inej said. "I remember a cave up ahead somewhere. I camped there before." "When you were on your way to Watchful?" Inej shook his head. "I never meant to go to Watchful. That was always a mistake. One in a long line." Layla swallowed her questions and wiped her nose with the back of her hand. It came away bloody. A faint headache formed behind her eyes, and she had a feeling that she knew what that meant. Oli was pulling power from her. Had it been Ulian who'd first asked how much of this she could take? She wished she had an answer to that question. Would it grow worse? Would the nosebleed become a river one day, draining her dry of her lifeblood? And if Oli were fighting right now and died, would her own life be snuffed out? Was she just steps away from collapsing, dead? Inej stopped and turned. His steps had grown slower by the hour. Finally, he looked as if he may be unable to go further. The Velk had bundled Ulian up beneath his coat like an infant. Flakes of newly fallen snow dusted Inej's coat and settled in his beard. "If you get far enough away, it almost looks peaceful," Inej said, looking beyond her. Layla turned, and her spine shivered in wonder. The barren treetops of the woods stretched on for miles, and beyond she could see the hills surrounding her home. Watchful was a series of black and brown dots obscured by the smoke rising from the forest below. The fire set by the Yelmes that Inej had killed. Will the fire burn forever? Layla asked. Just until snowfall, though I suspect much of the forest will be gone by then. A fitting end. What do you mean? Nothing, Inej said with a sigh. We better keep moving. Oh, grab what sticks you can get along the way, eh? Won't be any trees up the pass. We'll need a fire. Layla nodded, turning to follow Inej as he began moving again. Inej, she said, will they catch us? Aye, the Velk said after a moment. They know where we're off to. This stretch of land will be their last chance, and they'll claw like desperate rats to take it. Last chance to kill me? Inej nodded. Your brother will only grow more powerful. Killing you now is the easiest path forward for them. End your life, they end his. Layla didn't bother saying anything else. She knew now that Inej wouldn't be able to defend her. Even he could be outnumbered and outmatched. She only prayed that he was right, that if they could get across the mountains in the river, then they'd be safe. Her hand fell to her sword, but clutched only air. She had dropped it when she had tumbled down the hill, and Inej hadn't thought to grab it. It didn't matter, though. It hardly helped her last time. She may have been able to chop down dazed and wounded enemies that Inej sent her way, but she was less than capable in a true fight. Why? Layla said, voice quiet, almost hoping Inej wouldn't hear. Why what? She swallowed, thinking that maybe she shouldn't say anything. Just let the moment pass. But she wanted to know, wanted to understand. Why are you doing this? Why are you trying to save me? Why not just go home and leave me? They won't fight you if you aren't with me. Inej slowed and turned, eyes searching Layla's. Is that what you want? No, but why does that matter? What I want, I mean. Maybe it doesn't. What do you want? You don't want to fight. I can see that. You don't like it. I don't, but he sighed. Look, asking what I want just isn't the right question. Then what is? Inej's shoulders slumped. He used to think I knew. Now I've stopped asking questions altogether. I don't know why I'm helping you, lass. That's the truth of it. I just don't know. I just know I should. So I am. Layla put a hand on Inej's arm. Even through the heavy wool he wore, she could feel the warmth of his body. She thought maybe she could see the hundreds of miles that he'd traveled, the lifetimes he'd lived, and it felt right to say nothing at all. Inej snorted, air steaming from his nostrils in the cold. We better keep moving and get Uul near a fire. Layla nodded, then fell in behind Inej, trudging up the mountains and following in his steps.